Alright y'all, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up and fit a Avail Micro Cast spool into a small Ambassador. I actually showed this in the other video made of how to BFS tune a small Ambassador, but I need to go into farther detail. Okay, with putting a microcast spool into a small Ambassador, there's more to it than just dropping in a spool in like a modern bait casting reel like a Shimano dowel. There's actually parts you have to affix to the spool, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so underneath the spool is this E-clip. You're going to use that to affix one of the parts to the spool, so make sure you don't lose that. So the first thing that you will do is attach this spool shaft spring to the spool. You're going to find this spring on the original spool. And it just goes on this long side of the spool shaft. Kind of just push it on all the way. So the next thing you're going to do is put the ball bearing onto the spool shaft. And this ball bearing, one side of it is open, another side is closed. When I put this bearing onto the spool shaft, I always keep it with the open side out so that I can oil it. So I mean, that's up to you, but that's how I do it. Next, we're going to attach the cog gear part number 10255 to the spool shaft using this E-clip that came with the spool. So this side right here, this side goes towards the spool and you put it on. And you put it on the long spool side of the spool shaft again. And it fits onto here. So it's on there. So now you see this groove right here on the spool shaft next to the cog gear. That's where the E-clip clips into place. This groove right here. This is a E-clip. It's a lot thinner than a normal E-clip, so that it can fit into that thin groove. So sometimes this E-clip's like really tight and hard to put on, so I put a little bit of oil into that groove and it slid right in there. So the next thing you have to do, I'm setting this spool up for magnetic brakes. So the next thing you have to do is a magnetic brake hub. It comes with a plastic collar that you're going to put onto this side of the spool shaft. So here's the magnetic brake hub for this particular spool. And you can see, here's the plastic collar right here. So let's take that out and put it on. So you can see one side has a couple cuts or whatever you want to call in it. I'm not sure why that's on there, but I always put those cuts facing towards the spool. It probably doesn't matter, but that's how I always do it. You just push it all the way on. All right, y'all, so let's put the spool in the reel and see how it fits. So I'm going to take this magnetic brake hub off because it's not going to work with the spool. That's what the other brake hub's for. Take this spool out. I'll try this one now. See how it fits. So the spool fits in there good. Everything seems good. It's a good fit. So the next thing you have to do is, if you're setting it up for magnetic brakes, is to attach this magnetic brake hub into the reel. So let's take this back apart. So that just presses on there. The way you adjust it is your magnetic brake force is to turn this, one way makes this come out, makes the brake stronger. Turning it the other way makes it go away from the spool. It makes the brake force lighter. So that's about it, y'all. That's how you set up a Avail Micro Cast spool into a small Ambassador.